Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World. Today we're in Munich, and today what we have for you are the don'ts of traveling Germany. Because there's so many things you should do, like visit Munich here, or going to Berlin, or the Harz Mountains. There's so many great things to do here, but there's a few cultural don'ts you should know, so when you come here, you can have a better time. And the first don't I have for you is, don't assume Germans are these cold, unfriendly, uncaring people that we've kind of been taught by stereotypes throughout the years. Germans are actually really wonderful people. They're helpful, they're kind, they're honest, extremely honest. And the thing is, to see that, you need to ask them for your help. Ask them for some guidance, and they'll be glad to help you. And that's the thing is, some people think, oh, German service isn't very nice. Well, the thing is, German service is very professional. And if you ask them for help, I guarantee they will know the entire background of every meal you have and everything in the shoe store and all kinds of stuff. They'll be able to help you. But don't think that they're these cold-hearted people, because Germans really are super nice. And if you make a German friend, I guarantee they will be with you until the end. They make the best friends ever. So that's the first thing, is don't think they're bad people. Now, my second don't for you is, don't cross against the light. You know, don't jaywalk. Germans really like their rules, and they really don't like people breaking them. And that will mean tourists as well. And one of the biggest things is crossing when the light is red. They don't like that. I lived multiple years in Germany, 3 years in Germany, and there's been quite a few times where a grandma, an Oma, stops me and says, hey, bei Rot musst du stehen. By grün lass du gehen, which means by red you stay, by green you're allowed to go. And that's one of the things, is the Germans do like those rules, but the biggest one that a tourist doesn't want to do is don't jaywalk. Also, you can get a fine for that, so heads up on that one. Now, our third tip for you has to do with the Pfand, the deposit. Don't just throw away your bottles, like your big bottles or cans, and don't just leave your Christmas market mugs and stuff like that out, because you have to put a deposit on a lot of these things. For example, if you're at the Christmas markets and you get those cute mugs that everyone loves to get, look, usually you're going to be paying between 3 and 5 euros for the deposit on those mugs, and if you walk off with it, great, you have a cool souvenir. But the thing is, do you really want 8 of the exact same mug? For example, we were here in Munich and we got Glühwein and Kinderpunsch, the children version of it, and there was 8 of us. So that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 euros of a deposit. I'm like, whoa! I got to use that 100 euro shine, that 100 euro note that I've never got to use before, just on the deposit. And make sure you're turning those things in. Don't just throw it away, because it actually does add up after a while, so save those. Now, my fourth tip for you is, if you're invited to go to a German's house, because you know what, if they like you, they probably will invite you. They are really nice like that. But if you're going to go to their house, don't forget to bring either flowers or wine or candy, okay? That's kind of a typical thing you bring over there. Also, don't wear your shoes inside. When you come in, take your shoes off. Sometimes they even have house slippers for you when you get there for their guests, but it's kind of rude to have your shoes on inside the house, so just know that. So make sure you do bring something to their house if you get to be, if you get really invited to their house. It is really cool. Now, the fifth don't I have for you actually is specifically for tourists that I've been seeing a lot lately when I've been traveling through Germany, especially Berlin. People have been using the Jewish Memorial in Berlin, with the stone blocks and stuff, kind of like a parkour course, or this is the place to make the coolest selfies in Berlin. And people are climbing up them, jumping across them, doing silly pictures, duck face. It's a memorial to dead Jewish people. What the heck? What is wrong with you? I mean, this is not something you do. You don't do that. Also, at the concentration camps, we're seeing more and more people doing their duck face selfies. Look, this is where they burned everybody. I'm like, are you kidding me? So please have respect for people when you go to the concentration camps and the memorials and things like that, because the Germans show respect, for the horrible things that happen, and we as tourists need to do a better job as well. So don't be a tool when you're visiting some of these concentration camps, okay, or these memorials, all right?
There'll be girls across the nation that'll eat this up. Babe, I know that it's you, so but could you bottle it up? Get down to the heart of it, no, it's my heart. You're shit out of your luck. Don't make me tell you again. Woo! Love, love, love. Hey. Love, 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 love. I'm doing love. Love, love, love.
Uh-huh. You were poor. Yeah, you were poor.
Now, My sixth don't for you is don't wait. Look, whether it's a line or you're ordering food, you don't wait in Germany. Germans are go, go, go. We are very efficient. We want to get things done. So you're going to be on time for things, all right? Very punctual is important. But for a tourist, when you go to restaurants, what you need to do is when they give you the menu, look in it right away so you can order right away. Because it's not like in the US where they come back every 2 minutes to see us, need anything now, need anything now. They come when they come. So if you get that chance, make sure you do place your order, get your drinks and your food in and things like that. And when you want to get your bill, you ask for the bill. They'll come right away with their big wallet, okay? And you pay them right there. And when you pay them, you'll say, let's say it's a 27 euro bill, you will say 30. You just say the total amount you want to pay, and they'll put that down for you, okay? So then they give you the change back from that, okay? But don't wait. Like once they seat you, they give you a menu, it's time to order, okay? When they come and ask. Because if you wait, you might be waiting a long time. Now my seventh don't for you is don't experiment on the Autobahn. Okay, I know the Autobahn sounds really cool. Yes, driving without speed limits. Look, I've driven on the Autobahn before. There's a reason why I go in public transport. It can be really scary because we were going about 100 miles an hour, like 140K. We're going and we're in the right lane because there's BMWs and Mercedes going, and you just see them go by like, wow. And it's kind of dangerous when you're out there, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So please, if you're not comfortable with these fast speeds, make sure you don't experiment on the Autobahn. Stick with the public transport. It will take you everywhere here, which is so awesome about Germany. Now, my eighth don't for you is don't expect to shop on Sundays. Look, most of Germany is closed on Sundays, except for museums and restaurants. So if you want to do your shopping kind of stuff, if you're here for a long weekend, do it on Friday or Saturday, because on Sunday, a lot of the stuff is closed. Now, the things that usually tend to be open on Sundays, things that are attached to the train station. So if there's a mall attached to the train station, that'll probably open. Also in December, they'll have Sunday hours, a lot of places. But just know, basically on Sunday, everything's basically closed. Also on Mondays, a lot of the museums are closed. So if you're gonna do a long weekend, including that Monday, make sure you check and see and say, hey, let's do our tourism stuff on Saturday and Sunday and do our shopping on Monday. My ninth don't for you is don't forget to have cash. Look, Germans, yes, they have credit cards, but they prefer cash. Yes, have your euros ready. There's ATMs all over the place you can use, but you really want to have cash with you because they don't accept credit cards everywhere. A lot of places they do, and a lot of times you need to have a chip card, for your credit cards and stuff like that for everything to work. But just know that cash is king here in Germany, so don't forget to keep some with you just so you have it. And my 10th don't for you with coming to Germany is realize that you don't just see half-tempered houses here. Germany is not just the stereotype of half-tempered houses and beer halls. There's so much more to Germany. Whether you're going to Berlin, where they have the Potsdamer Platz and all this new stuff there, or you're here in Munich, where the tech stuff is booming, or Hamburg, which is a rebuilt city. I mean, you have all these cool modern cities here in Germany, and it's not just half-tempered houses. And the thing is, you can see the half-tempered houses, Quedlinburg and Wernigerode and Goslar and the Harz Mountains. Oh, my heart just falls in love with that place. Here in Bavaria, go to Regensburg and Bamberg, Oberammergau. You can get that old Germany, but also you have very modern Germany as well. So make sure you explore both sides. Don't just try to think it's going to be half-tempered houses, but experiment all the wonders of Germany. Anyway, I hope this helps you out to have a better time when you are here in Germany. If you have other don'ts about German culture, please put it in the comment section below so we can have more help for our awesome travelers. Auf Wiedersehen. See, we saw each other again from Munich. Tschüss. Bye.
The U.S. has a lot to offer and is a leader in many things, but there are some things that Germany just does better. These are the 10 things that Germany does better than the US of A. According to Bloomberg's Innovation Index, Germany is the second most innovative country in the world, just behind South Korea, but the United States sits at number 8. Germany has a long history of science and invention, so it might not be too surprising. Still, it's clear that the US could take a few lessons from Germany, at least in this department. Germany has a long history of innovation and thought, and its national average IQ reflects this. The national German mean IQ sits at 102. The US mean IQ sits at 98, which only seems to be a little bit less, but those few points can make a huge difference in a competitive market. Maybe it's the history, maybe it's the education, but Germans are just smarter than Americans. It might not be something to brag about, but when it comes to red tape, Germany has miles and miles of it. But the US tends to take shortcuts in matters of bureaucracy. It's so bad that in light of the refugee crisis, 2 Syrians actually came up with an app to help navigate the maze of German bureaucracy after waiting weeks and weeks to get basic things done, like setting up a bank account. In Germany, you're required to carry an identification card, have to apply for a license for everything, and then you need to wait for half an eternity to actually receive the results of your multitude of applications. Some say it's the old Prussian culture that Germans could never let go of, but at the end of the day, Germany is just better at bureaucracy because it keeps going and going and going and going and going. Crime is significantly lower in Germany than it is in the United States, which means Germans are better at keeping criminal elements in check. The United States has over twice as much general crime as Germany does, with Germany ranked 77th in the world and the USA ranked 30th in crime. In addition, Germany has lower rates of crime in all relevant categories. The USA has 3 times more drug use, 3 times more violent crime, and 5 times the murder rate. Germany is just a safer place, hands down. Germany is the #1 hops producer in the world, with the US falling far behind it. Hops is a flower that is essential for the production of beer. As for critical acclaim, German beer is widely regarded as far better than anything offered in the United States. That is because German beer is real beer, and US beer is just piss water. The USA is known as the gas guzzler nation, and one that tends to overuse electricity and power all the time. But Germans are ahead of the game by way of comparison. Germany has the largest installed solar power capacity of any country and is leagues ahead of the United States. Germany's active solar capacity sits at 9,799 megawatts per hour, which is better than anything the USA can muster. Germany is far more generous with immigration than the USA is. The USA still has strict requirements on people who wish to emigrate from their country to live and work in the United States, but the process can be unduly long, often taking years. In Germany, the immigration process is much more streamlined and humanitarian. When Angela Merkel, in a historic and monumental moment, announced that Germany's borders would be open for all to come, Germany set a new precedent for immigration. These days, you can just walk over the border and live in Germany with no paperwork required. The United States lags behind Germany in this capacity, but it might be just a matter of time until it catches up. Compared to the United States, German education isn't just cheap, it's practically free. For about 250 euros a semester, you can study in Germany and get as good as, if not better in education than anything you might be able to get in the United States. Compare this to the average private American university that can literally charge you thousands and thousands of dollars a semester. In fact, the most expensive private institution in the United States is Columbia University, which charges a whopping $55,056 per year in tuition and fees. Perhaps because the German word for debt, Schuld, is the same word as guilt, Germany is a land of misers and fiscally conscious people. Most German credit cards are actually debit cards, directly tied to people's bank accounts. German people generally don't try to spend money they don't have, and are cautious about taking on debt. Compare that to the United States, where students take on hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, overspend with multiple credit cards, and buy everything they want on a whim. There's a reason why Germany is the EU's economic powerhouse, and the US has a debt-to-GDP ratio of 104.5%. Everyone hears the nightmare stories about the American healthcare system. Stories of average people financially ruined by medical bills they simply cannot pay. Well, in Germany, that sort of thing just doesn't happen. The healthcare system in Germany is what is called universal multi-payer with 2 types, gesetzliche Krankenversicherung, or statutory health insurance, and Krankenkasse, or sickness funds. Germany ranks worldwide 25th in terms of healthcare, but the US ranks 37th. To add insult to injury, the US even pays more for its inferior healthcare, as the country has a higher per capita spending per healthcare than Germany does.